Hello, welcome to Fake News Friday. My name's Nicola and I'm one of the librarians at the Open University. And throughout May we've been doing a series called Fake News Friday where we look at some hints and tips to help you with spotting fake news. And we're using this infographic from IFLA to help us with that. So today I'm going to be looking at Read Beyond and Check Your Biases. Okay, so my first tip is Read Beyond. And this is just a reminder to make sure that you always read beyond the headline. So you open an article and you have a look at it. And that's because sometimes headlines, they can be misleading or even outright false. So the text of an article might not be fake at all, but the headline makes you think it is. So an example of something like this that I've seen recently is something from a major UK newspaper, and it was being shared quite widely on social media, and the headline was "Salt banned in chip shops." And people were getting really quite incensed about this, they weren't allowed to have salt with their fish and chips, and it was being shared quite a lot, and there were lots of comments, lots of likes. But when I actually clicked on it and read through the article, I found out that it wasn't actually true at all. And so what had actually happened was a few fish and chip shops in one town in the UK had signed up to a voluntary scheme whereby they agreed to keep their salt behind the counter and only give it out if customers actually asked for it, rather than offering it to everyone. So no salt ban at all. And it was actually also an article from 2011. So you can see it was really important that I opened it up, I read through it, and I saw, okay, this isn't true. Salt hasn't been banned. So that's my first tip. Tip number 2 is check your biases. And this one can be quite tricky because what you have to do is not just evaluate what you're reading, but you actually have to kind of evaluate yourself. So you need to remember that your own biases, so your opinions, your beliefs about certain things, they can impact how much you believe and how able you are to be critical when you're reading a news article. So, for example, if we think about the general election at the moment, there's lots of news out there about the different political parties and the leaders of them. And it's worth remembering that if you happen to dislike a particular party or a politician, then if you read a piece of news that makes them look bad, you're probably more likely to think that it's true because you want them to look bad. Sometimes we believe stuff because we want to believe it. And the same is true with the opposite. So if you particularly like a particular politician and you see something that makes them look good, you're more likely to believe it. And you're also more likely to think critically if you see something that makes them look bad. So the idea there is to make sure that you just always remember that your own biases might be impacting how much you are able to think critically about something. It's also worth bearing in mind that if you get a lot of your news from social media, that actually your biases impact how much you actually get to see. So the social network sites, they filter out what they show you based on what you've liked before and what you tend to enjoy reading. So you're not seeing the whole picture. You're not seeing the things that they've decided you don't want to see, and you don't know what they've decided you want to see. So if you do tend to get quite a lot of your news from social media, then you might want to get a more holistic view by going outside of that and looking at news websites, for example. Okay, so that's my tips. I hope you found them useful. And don't forget to join us next week when Manda will be talking about supporting sources and Ask the Experts. Bye.